Hey YouTube, how's everybody doing? My name is JC and this is the Cuban Redneck DIY Channel, where we do DIY projects on Fridays and cooking and grilling on Tuesdays. If this is your first time here, welcome. I want to give double thumbs up to all the new subscribers. You guys are awesome. If you haven't already subscribed, and there's a little button right there, I will really appreciate if you click it. So with that said, let's talk about today's project, and that is this router table of mine. A lot of my friends keep making fun of it online. Get comments like, what's going on with the stains? Can I afford a better one? Another one asked what kind of Cuban rig this is. Well, this is a jig that I built. First one I built about 25 years ago. The original one was intended to have something portable and light to take out to the boatyard. As a commercial fisherman, during the off season, you take your boat out of the water. And when you go to some of these marinas, some of these boatyards, there are really no amenities. Most of the time, they don't even have power. So you have to bring your own compressor, your own generators, and all that kind of stuff. Definitely no room to bring a full-size router table. The design is very simple. It is nothing but a plate with two outer stringers and these ribs that keep it from bowing. And it self-aligned between two sawhorses. Granted, I'm using 𝗥𝐴𝐻𝐵 ones. If you have better ones, definitely be a lot more stable. The router, this particular router doesn't come off the base without removing a retainer. But if you have one of those, I know Bosch makes one, a real cheap one for like 150 bucks. And I think 𝐷𝐸𝐿𝐵 is the other one. No, it's not 𝐷𝐸𝐿𝐵. It's I forget what the yellow ones are. If you have one that has, the router comes off the base, you can have an extra base and still maintain your router's function, and then just have this when you need a table. With that said, it's self-aligned and it's pretty stable. It actually works pretty well. I've used this a lot. This particular build, in my opinion, is a failure, and I basically shot myself in the foot on day one by cutting corners. I built it with scrap wood. I didn't buy any materials, so I used 1/2 inch material. It should have been 3/4. I put the ribs a little bit too close to the edge, one about 2 inches out, so you can put clamps. I didn't make any provisions for making circles. I ended up drilling some holes every 1/4 inch, and I have a pin that goes in there. And overall, there's a lot of, it could use a lot of improvement, and that's what this project is about. Do you need a router table? I think you do. I don't know about you, but even with a small router like this, I always feel that it feels tipsy pushing. With a big plunge router, it fits tipsy because you're putting so much power to hold the machine in place. You have no idea if you're going too fast, too slow, if you're straight or whatever. Another thing is even with the larger routers, since the router's on top and the wood is underneath, there's all kind of sawdust and stuff going on in there. It's hard to tell what is the blade doing. When you have it inverted, the blower, the fan from the router itself has a tendency of blowing the dust away, and you have a better, clear view of what is going on. You can also, do put a vac or blower onto it and go from there. So what is my complaints? Well, first, I would like my circle jig, part of it, to be adjustable. Don't have to be like fully adjustable, at least a 1/16 adjustment. I would definitely like some kind of provision to put a fence. I also kept this little toy miter gauge that came with the contractor saw. Originally, I was going to throw it away, and then I decided to keep it. So, one of these days may be good for something, and I think I'm going to make a slot so that I can push material this way or the other way, maybe both ways, I don't know. So with that said, I have a budget of $15, and let me show you how to build a very simple little routing jig that if you do work on the, well, this fits a lot of people, If you don't have a dedicated room, workspace, and all you have is a little shed, I mean, you can put this thing on, you take the router off, you can put this thing on your bed. If you're going out to do a job, out in the field, whether you're doing cabinetry or whatever, it really can save you, the day. I'm also going to make some kind of fixture, maybe a couple of holes so I can hang it on the wall, and it's completely out of the way. So with that said, let's stop talking, let's start building. Stick around. I recommend you build this router table around whatever sawhorses you happen to have. For my application, the table is going to measure 24 inches by 24 inches. This gives me exactly a ½ inch on each side for my side stringers. I'm using some leftover pieces of red oak from my laundry room shelf project, but in reality any kind of wood would do, including MDF. Home Depot didn't have 2x2 sheets, so I ended up buying a 2x4. You can simply rip ½ inch pieces out of that and you're good to go. I pre-drill and kind of sunk the stringers every 6 inches or so. And then I attach them to the deck with 1 1/4 inch number 6 screws. By the way, I think the drywalls will work just fine. After taking a lunch break, I came back and checked my piece and tested the fit. Everything seems to be okay. So I am roughly going to trace the angle and distance between the two sawhorses so that I can cut my ribs. These are made from an 8-foot 2x3 piece that I also bought at Home Depot. Because of the radius most of these construction studs have, I ended up shaving about 1/8 of an inch from one edge in an effort to get a better surface for the joint. This is 100% option, but I love making things difficult for myself. The angle between the two sawhorses is 15 degrees, but I'm cutting the ribs at 17 degrees. This gives me extra angles and allows better self-alignment when you rest the table on top of the sawhorses. Since I had the contractor saw already set up outside, I decided to go ahead and rip the two pieces for the fence. These are both 24 inches long. The vertical one is 3 inches wide and the other one is 8 inches. I pre-drill and kind of sunk the vertical part before putting it together. I started the assembly by laying down a couple of strips of masking tape to keep the glue away from the deck. After clamping the big piece to the deck, I screwed the smaller one with more 1 1/4 inch screws. I want to set this piece aside and let the glue set, but not before marking where the router is going to be. This part is pretty straightforward. Center and trace your top plate. Center mark all your screw holes and drill. I made the center hole only 1½ inches round just because I don't have any bits bigger than that. But if you have a ½ inch router, you may want to reconsider that. The next step is to kind of sink the mounting holes so that everything is flush. Okay, so what am I going to do with the miter gauge? After some consideration, I opted for just one slot. I clamped the straight edge about 8 inches from the edge and made a 3/4 inch dado with a cordless router. Although this is a trim router, it went through the MDF with no issues. The only thing to do before mounting the router on the table is a ½ inch chamfer around the shaft for easier access to the collet. After a quick dusting, we are ready to mount our router. I find that with small 1-2 horsepower units like this one, mounting from the bottom is better. But I think that we can all agree that the opposite is a better choice for 3-3.5 horsepower units. With the router in place, I mounted a 1/4 inch flue to cut the adjustment slots for the fence. These slots will be located at a halfway point between the router's center and the edge of the table. And just about now, I answered a call and forgot to turn the camera back on. No big deal. As you can see on my left, I just clamp a straight edge on the table and ran the piece in one direction for one side and the opposite direction for the other side. The next step is making our blade cavity. I once again use a 1½ inch Foster bit and drill a hole on the center line of each of the faces of the fence. I then use the Japanese saw to join the two holes and make a slot. I install the chamfer bit on the table router and chamfer not only the cavity but the entire front edge so that wood dust doesn't accumulate and does not interfere when you're pushing a piece across. With that done, we can proceed to installing it. I use a large fender washer with a 1/4 inch hole to align the drill bit and mark the hole. I then drill a 1/8 pilot followed by a 7/16 hole with a Foster bit as deep as the thickness of the nut that I'm using with these bolts. I then flip the table upside down, countersum the holes, and install my retaining bolts. With the router table fence in place, let's turn our focus into the circle cutting feature. We're going to need two things for the circle cutter jig. A flat piece of aluminum anywhere between 1/2 to 3/4 inches wide by 1/8 thick, and one of these 1 1/4 inch threaded posts. We'll start by making a line across the center of the table. We'll then set up a fence in order to center the trim router right over the line. For the Ryobi with the OEM plate is 1 3/4 inches. The first run is the width of the aluminum stock, in my case 1/2 inch, by 1/8 inch deep, followed by a 1/4 inch straight bit all the way through the deck. Then you're going to flip the table and run the same 1/2 inch by 1/8 groove on the bottom as well. I cut a 1 1/2 and a 6 inch piece from the aluminum stock. The smaller piece gets drilled in the center and tapped for an 832 bolt. The longer piece gets drilled at the center and in both ends. You also need to countersink the end holes in one direction and the center hole in the opposite direction. After filing the edges round, I gave it a try, and it worked exactly as planned. I was not going to put the cross supporting rib on the bottom, but after thinking about it all night, I went ahead and added at least one the following day. I made a small dado on the support rib, about 3/8 deep by about 1 inch wide, just to make sure we clear the circle jig. Although the router table is super solid, the dado on the deck is an invitation for distortion. And that is it. This is probably the 3rd or 4th portable router table I make, and so far it's the best. I'm sure in a week or so I will come up with some flaws and I will work to correct them in the next generation. But so far, so good. Please support this channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Thank you.